This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp. 5 brain cells, 4 aren't working. You know, that's just one step above stupid. Have you lost the last 3 brain cells, or do you just have cabbage for brains? Come on, man. What's wrong?
Huh? It's the house!
What's going on, freaks? Alright, well, we got another... The new month is starting, everybody. The new month is starting. Hopefully we can get the month started off good. We got the... Yeah, hold on. Yeah, thanks to... Tighten Up sent a PayPal in earlier, very generous, thank you very much. That's good for you, Beach Bum. We're actually gonna be going over it pretty soon, alright, so let's see, we got the, so I think the first thing we're gonna do here is go over the, hold on. Do the donations spins from last night. Alright, so here we go. But we're starting a new month, you guys, so every single night on this channel we try to raise funds just like Sarita right there. And, well, thank you very much. And that way we're able to do, like we gave out $4,500 last month. This last month is my tax month, so I can't be as sort of cavalier about, like, sometimes I donate way more than 50% of the net revenue, but from YouTube. So we're still doing well, no matter, regardless, we're doing well. So there you go. Oh, look at that. It's the avocado dance.
Fine, paid, playful face.
Alright, so from last night we're going to give away 3 free cart mugs with a sketch and 2 notebooks. Alright, so here we go. These are for the free cart mugs with a sketch. Sharon Lancaster wins one. All right. Amber Maiden. She wins a free cart mug with a sketch. And let's see. Scoutin' Dude. There you go. Scoutin' Dude wins a free cart mug with a sketch. And these are for 2 notebooks now, or notebook. This one. Kettle Queen. Let's see who else. Georgina Stoliker. I don't know if she. I think I just sent her one recently. So if she wants to, I'll give her. Maybe send her a mug instead. So there you go. All right. So we just took care of all the from last night throughout the show. So let me get today's set up here. So Rita, gotta get her name in there. Oh, actually, it's not done now. All right, there you go. All good. All right, so we're gonna just do an update on. It was the press conference from last night. We didn't see that the St. Petersburg police chief gave. So it's a little bit more details on what was going on. And then the father who killed Taylen was in court today. But anyways, here's this one.
With great sadness, I have to inform you today that Taylen's body has been found. It is my condolences going out to the family and to his loved ones. We are sorry that it had to end this way.
Here, let me fix that. I thought that was not like that. I'm gonna try opening up Adobe Premiere. We'll see if it screws everything up. Hold on. Just got to get this set up because it doesn't. Some people won't be able to hear it, and you can see right there. I mean, look how crazy it is. The audio is only coming out of one side. So put it on both the same, and it should sound way better. No. Whoa.
Okay.
That's loud.
It is with great sadness I have to inform you here today that Taylen's body has been found. It is my condolences going out to the family and to his loved ones. We are sorry that it had to end this way. Through investigative technique, we were able to find an area around Dell Holmes Park that led the investigators to that area. The detectives had been there all afternoon, and while they were there, they were spotted an alligator with an object in his mouth. As the detective got closer, they fired one round to the alligator. The alligator dropped the...
See, there's people that said they hit the alligator, and that's not true. They just scared the alligator, and it dropped it.
The object that he had in his mouth, and we were able to retrieve Taylen's body intact. The father, Thomas Mosley, is now being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. I can tell you now that Taylen's mom, Miss Jeffries, her body was stabbed multiple times. Until the medical examiner has a chance to look at Taylen's body, we cannot tell you the cause of death. I would like to thank all the law enforcement agencies that assisted us today, or since Wednesday, and a special thanks to our detectives here at St. Pete Police Department. These men and women have worked tirelessly since Wednesday at 2:30, trying to find Taylen for a better outcome. But again, that didn't happen. Needless to say, tomorrow we don't need the volunteers to come out to assist us in looking for Taylen, but I just want to again thank everybody for volunteering to come out to help us. With that, remember this is an ongoing investigation, so I will try to answer some of your questions.
And after almost 2 days of looking for little Taylen, crews on the ground searching, brought in, all hands on deck, like you said. I mean, this has got to be tough for your team to see things end like this after all your hard work.
It's very tough because these men and women, again, since Wednesday at 2:30, they've been working tirelessly trying to find Taylen. And we didn't want to find him this way, but at least we can bring some closure to that family now. Again, there's emotions up and down because as they're doing investigating, they're following up the leads that we were hoping that we could find him alive. So these detectives and these law enforcement agency officers, they go through a lot. And tomorrow, guess what? They got to start all over again doing something else. But my hat off to these men and women for being able to do this. At this time, we're not going to talk about that. Again, we're still doing this ongoing investigation.
If someone spoke with you at all, kind of what was the reaction to once that alligator is shot, to seeing that as a human body that the alligator had, if the officer that found him was able to speak to that?
I'm sorry, you were asking about...
I guess, what was the reaction, I guess, to seeing the human body in an alligator's mouth after that shot was fired?
Well, I can't tell you that. Just think about anybody. The officer sees a body of a child. What would be your reaction to that? What would you think? So that officer, he or she has to, they've been working since Wednesday, and they see a child in an alligator's mouth. So they got to do their job, but at the same time, I can't tell you their reaction. I can tell you probably a lot of emotion went through their body, but they still had to do their job.
How does one separate the job and the emotion, if that's even possible?
These men and women do it each and every day. They come to work, they investigate a case. They got to put a case together to make sure that Mosley get convicted of this. So they got to do their job on that, and they do it. They do it quite well.
Chief, are those 2 counts of first-degree murders that one?
How does one separate the job and the emotion, if that's even possible?
These men and women do it each and every day. They come to work.
Yeah, those little sort of feel questions are so dumb.
They investigate a case. They got to put a case together to make sure that Mosley get convicted of this. So they got to do their job on that, and they do it. They do it quite well.
Chief, are those 2 counts of first-degree murders that one for passion, one for Taylen, or what are those counts for? Is he charged with both of their deaths or just passion's death?
He's charged with both of their deaths. 1 count for passion and 1 count for Taylen.
But you said the cause of death for the child is still pending, right? So we don't know if he was deceased before he went into the lake or after?
That is correct. So that's what we're trying to determine.
And then where is this lake in relation to the apartment complex?
So how far away is that?
It's miles.
Which question are you guys referring to in there?
It's several miles.
So it would have to be an intentional act, not like he just wandered out.
So let's just give you an example. Where the incident happened is way out on Gandy in 4. Lake McGorry is at 22nd south.
Yeah, you keep typing in the reporter. What does that mean? What was the question that he asked? Yeah, how the officers felt.
Any why Del Home Park?
I don't know why he'd lose his job on it.
Again, this is an ongoing investigation, and through investigation technique, we were able to zone in on that area.
And Chief, we heard that Mosley went to the hospital with cuts. Can you tell us if there was a fight back from Passion, if she was stabbed by him?
Again, this is an ongoing investigation, and I can tell you, like I said, when he went to check himself into the hospital, he had cuts to his hands and to his arms.
Do we know if he's still in the hospital?
He is still there.
Since your last update, has he said anything to you? Or has he said anything about anything?
Yeah.
When the detectives went out and spoke to him,
Thanks, Scouting, dude. I think a lot of people thought the button was broken tonight.
He didn't want to talk to the detectives, and then later on he asked for an attorney.
You said police fired a round at the alligator. Have you taken the alligator in at all, or is the alligator back in the lake?
The alligator was killed.
Okay, so they did kill it. So maybe that's what he meant. He was trying to be PC earlier when he said he just shot it out there.
Commas question.
How does one separate the job and the emotion?
Is that what you're saying? How does one separate their job and their emotion? Is that the question that you guys are talking about? I mean, it's dumb, but it's not like, oh, he's going to lose his job over it. I mean, you know, how does one separate the job from the emotions? Especially, you know, like when it's a kid or something. I mean, it's like, who gives a shit, you know? That's just so unimportant. I'm not going to rewind my own show. I can actually rewind it on the screen, LM. God, your brain's not working again. Which sentence and comment did somebody make that was a dumb question? How's it feel? What does this mean to you? What were you feeling about out there? Okay, good. All right, excellent.
That's even possible.
These men and women do it each and every day. They come to work, they investigate.
Okay, so it's before this one.
The reaction to once the alligator is shot, to seeing that as a human body, that the alligator.
Yeah, didn't we heard this yesterday? Something the same guy asked the same question.
Had it if the officer that found him was able to speak to that.
I'm sorry, you were asking about.
I guess, what was the reaction?
That must be the same reporter that was there yesterday, because somebody asked something almost identical at that other press conference.
I guess to seeing the human body in an alligator's mouth after that shot.
Yeah, that one there. That's some crazy shit. It's almost like the guy. I mean, listen to that.
Spoke with you at all? Kind of, what was the reaction to once the alligator is shot, to seeing that as a human body that the alligator had, if the officer that found him was able to speak to that?
I'm sorry, you were asking about.
I guess, what was the reaction, I guess, to seeing the human body?
See, what's cool is even the sheriff guy. He's like, what? What the hell are you talking about?
In an alligator's mouth after that shot was fired.
Well, I can't tell you that. Just think about anybody. The officer sees a body of a child. What would be your reaction to that? What would you?
Yeah, it's like a question you don't need an answer to because it's obvious to everybody. You know, it's just, yeah, it's disturbing as hell. Okay, nobody wants to go see. So it's like somebody asking that is just somebody that's really looking for sensationalistic shit and trying. They're almost a sociopath themselves because they aren't feeling it, so they're wondering what somebody else. I think like everybody who, just regular human beings understand that it must be absolutely horrific to see a child in an alligator's mouth. Okay, you don't need to get into explanations and talk about it and all that stuff. Okay, so yeah, that question was weird because you guys must be so far behind in the chat because your comments about it started popping up. Gosh, like a minute or so after the. That's why when I rewound it, it wasn't even close to. I had to go back to this whole other section over here. That's crazy.
The reaction to once the alligator is shot, to seeing that as a human body that the alligator had, if the officer that
what's the reaction by the cop seeing that's a human body and
that found him was able to speak to that?
I'm sorry, you were asking.
And then it's like, what the hell are you talking?
Was fired.
Well, I can't tell you that. Just think about anybody. The officer sees a body of a child. What would be your reaction to that? What would you think? So that officer, he or she has to. They've been working since Wednesday, and they see a child in an alligator's mouth. So they got to do their job. But
yeah, of course. Yeah. Hey. And by the way, everybody out there that's in the storms and the tornadoes and whatnot, I hope you be safe out there. That's all I can say. I don't really know it. Either you got away from it or you didn't. But man, that's some devastating crap out there. I've seen it on the news. It's not good. It's not good at all. Thank you, Simple Life Days. And Kathy Chapin and Reviewed Popcorn. And Scout Dude before that. How do I rewind my own show? I can rewind the video on the screen. Come on, LM. You know it. Was the baby already dead? We don't know the answer to that question. We haven't heard back from the medical examiner. I hope to God he didn't. The baby. If the baby drowned, then likely probably wasn't alive when the alligator found it.
Sir, are you talking to me or the deputies? I think you're having two conversations. Are you talking to me?
Pinellas County Circuit Court Judge Patrice
I can
Moore
tell I like this
struggled
judge
to communicate
already.
at times with
Thanks,
21-year-old
Eugenie.
Thomas Mosley, who called into his first hearing over the phone from St. Anthony's Hospital, where he remains in police custody while being treated for injuries. He didn't make an official plea, and Judge Moore believed he was on medication.
I have you here for 2 counts of first-degree murder, sir.
1 count each for the murder of 20-year-old Passion Jeffrey and their 2-year-old son, Taylen Mosley, who were last seen at their Lincoln Shores apartment in St. Pete on the night of Wednesday, March 29th. And as Judge Moore read the individual complaints to Mosley out loud, more details emerged about how things played out that day.
It is alleged that the victim's family visited the victim's home at approximately 4:30 for the defendant's birthday party. The victim's family left around 5:15, and the only person remaining in the residence were the victim and their 2-year-old son.
According to the complaint, phone records
left around the victim's home at approximately
the night of Wednesday, March 29th. And as Judge Moore read the individual complaints to Mosley out loud, more details emerged about how things played out that day.
It is alleged that the victim's family visited the victim's home at approximately 4:30 for the defendant's birthday party. The victim's family left around 5:15.
Oh, wow. Huh.
And the only person remaining in the residence were the victim and their 2-year-old son.
According to the complaint,
Wow, so that means that the killer, he was over at the, I guess Thomas Mosley was at her apartment for his birthday or something? I mean, it's kind of...
showed
approximately 4:30 for the defendant's birthday party.
Yeah, so for the defendant's birthday party. So they met at her house at Passion's house for the defendant's birthday party. And then the rest of the family was there too, and they left. And then, wow, so when they left, that means it was the defendant and the 2 murdered individuals that were at the house. So that's pretty good circumstantial evidence right there, right?
The victim's family left around 5:15, and the only person remaining in the residence
It's kind of a
was
short trip. You sort of wonder if there was arguing and fighting going on in there.
the victim and their 2-year-old son.
According to the complaint, phone records showed Passion's phone leaving the area of her apartment around 8:42 p.m. and heading to Lake Magori, where Taylen's body would later be found on Friday, before Mosley showed up at his mother's house with lacerations to his arms and checked himself into St. Anthony's. After Passion's family grew suspicious Thursday afternoon, they called maintenance to go inside. We learned that they walked into a...
So, I mean, what do you think? God, it's so bizarre, because that sort of sounds like they're on good terms, right? Doesn't it? Like, that makes the story weirder in a way. He goes over there for his birthday, and, you know, I mean, if you're estranged and you're not getting along, you're not having birthday parties, right? For the father of a child, if you're not friendly with each other.
Gruesome scene. Passion stabbed more than 100 times, and evidence linking Mosley to her murder.
A bloody fingerprint on a cleaning bottle, which has been initially placed under a bed in the crime scene, was identified to the defendant. A bloody shoe print with a Gucci emblem was located on the bathroom floor where the victim was found. The defendant's brother stated the defendant was wearing a pair of Gucci slides when he arrived at his mother's home.
Meanwhile, a memorial
So his
continues to
feet-
grow for the mother and
footprints were
son
on top of
outside of
blood,
that
meaning there was
apartment.
blood
They
on the
were
ground
said
when
to
he was
have
still
a
there.
wonderful relationship.
She loved that baby. That baby loves her.
And we watched
Regina
that one.
Gonzalez, Fox 13
Who
News.
the hell would kill that cute guy? See, here's the problem when you go, who would kill that cute little kid? Oh, so they would you could see them killing it in an ugly kid, Gray? No, I didn't say that. I was just saying you look at that cute kid there and some idiot killed the kid and threw him in a lake and an alligator was eating him. Okay? Yeah, that's ridiculous. Let's see, 21-year-old Thomas Mosley is being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder after the body of 2-year-old Taylen Mosley was found in an alligator's mouth at a lake 15 minutes from the apartment his mother, Passion Jeffrey, was found brutally stabbed to death in. I mean, that was her apartment, right? Or were they just over at his apartment? I don't know. Let's see. Pinellas Circuit Judge Patrice Moore struggled to communicate at times with Mosley, who called in. But his address was his mom's address, too. So, hey, thanks, Lee. That was my I had a dog named Lee, but I don't think you say it the same. It was Lili. It was a Pomeranian, that black one. It was pretty cute. Pinellas Circuit Judge Patrice Moore struggled to communicate at times with Mosley, who called in on a phone from St. Anthony Hospital, where he remains in police custody while being treated for injuries. He didn't make an official plea, so maybe that theory that some of you had out there that he tried to kill himself, maybe that is something. Or it could be that they came from the attack, because I guess it was really brutal in there. As Judge Moore read the complaint to Mosley out loud, more details emerged about what happened on Wednesday, March 29th, when Passion and her son were last seen alive. It is alleged that the victim's family visited the victim's home at approximately 4:30 p.m. for the defendant's birthday. It's alleged that the victim's family visited the victim's home. Okay, yeah, so it's Passion's apartment. That's what I was thinking. Wow, thank you so much. Cali Gal 3. Oh, we get to hear the avocado dance again. Let's hear it. Hell, who needs the music when I can do it so perfectly like that? I know it's going to play, so I don't want to read any more of this. Come on. It's being slow. There it is. Yeah, you like the dog cam?
They are young, 20 and 21. Anger probably.
There we go. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, according to, I mean, they probably have a lot of hormones and things going on at 20, 21. According to the complaint, phone records showed Passion left the area. Okay, so let's go up above. It is alleged that the victim's family visited the victim's home. So, right, so her family visited Passion's family visited Passion's home at 4:30 for the defendant, this Thomas guy's birthday. The victim's family left at 5:15. That's a really short, so something must have been brewing in the house, because, I mean, who goes to a party for 45 minutes, right? And the only person remaining in the home were the victim and her 2-year-old son. And Thomas, he forgot to, or did everybody leave too? According to the complaint, phone records showed Passion's phone left the area of her apartment at 8:42 and headed to Lake Maggiore, where Taylen's body was later found. See, that's exactly what we said on the show last night, that he went straight there from that apartment, then went to his mom's house after that, and then to the hospital, where Taylen's body was later found on Friday before Mosley showed up at his mother's house. See, boom. That's exactly what we were saying. See how when you just use logic and common sense, you can actually figure stuff out? And if I say actually one more time, I'm going to... I do say that word a lot. Ooh, oh well. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So if you remember, yesterday we were showing right here how you come out of this apartment, you go straight down on this highway, down here, boom, 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 and then you come over. That's where his mother lives. And he went to the lake first, So likely came in from this side. And in fact, that place that we were looking at yesterday, right there, I mean, what a perfect place. You drive your car, it's probably dark out, you can see if anybody's around, and then put the body in the water right in that area right there. I'm not saying that's the spot, but that's would make sense. And then went to his home here, and then to the hospital. Hey, it's Quietly Frozen, the coolest name in YouTube history. Thank you. How's it going, Quietly Frozen? People have called her it's actually my wife sending in donations to make it look like I was getting more donations. And of course, you lose a percentage every time, so wouldn't that be really dumb? If there's a bad night, there's a bad night, you know? It doesn't have to pretend that it looks like That's pretty funny, though. Quietly Frozen. Yeah, anyway, thank you so much. Don't you remember that? Quietly Frozen? Come on, that was pretty weird. We used to laugh about that one. Why not, LM? Are you saying she wouldn't send in donations? Yeah, but why don't you send me something? What? That's great. Yeah, why would she send me something? It's stupid. It comes out of the same, it's ridiculous. I mean, we just have one checking account. She can go spend all kinds of, she does all the time. She goes off and buys stuff. You know, whatever the hell it is. She's looking at me like, oh, jeez. Okay. After Passion's family grew suspicious, by Thursday afternoon they called maintenance to check on her. They walked into a gruesome scene. Passion was dead on the bathroom. Oh man, this is all kind of new stuff here. Passion was dead on the bathroom floor with over 100 stab wounds. Evidence that would later link Mosley to the. Let's see what this says. Hold on. There's a link on the word. Forget it. A bloody fingerprint on a cleaning bottle placed on a bed was identified as the defendant's. So that means, so he has blood on his hands, therefore he had to be there as it was happening to leave the fingerprint on the bottle. Moore explained a bloody shoe print with a Gucci emblem was located on the bathroom floor where the victim was found. The victim's brother said the defendant was wearing a pair of Gucci slides when he arrived. Another piece of evidence showing that he was at the house after blood was put on the ground. Meanwhile, a memorial continues to grow for the mother and son outside their apartment. They were said to have a wonderful relationship. She loved that baby loved her, Passion's mom said. Once released from the hospital, Mosley will be held at the Pinella County Jail without bond. I hope some of that in-prison justice happens in there. I don't have any sympathy whatsoever for people like that. I mean, it's like, what in the hell did that 2-year-old do to you? Nothing. Let's see I think I saw a picture of him earlier. Yeah, there he is. Oh, man. I think him and Michelle Carter win the award for the biggest forehead of the year award. I mean, man, imagine if Michelle Carter and this guy had a baby. You'd have a forehead that would go up and reach the skies. You could climb it. Come on, that was pretty good. Come on. You could climb that forehead. Oh yeah. Yeah. So let me just show you what I was talking about. So Michelle Carter. Where the hell is that? Yeah, I mean, look at that. You telling me you put that with the other one, they have a baby together? Holy crap. Yeah. Mount Rushmore. It's called a 5-head. Really? What does that mean? I've never heard that before. And then Kubi said 25 head. What does that mean? Never heard that one before. Her forehead is so big, so tall you could climb it. I know, I do try to make people laugh sometimes there. Help me, Rhonda. And man, if people that are here all the time know that I'm funny, like often, but it's just it's not against the victims or anything like that. It's just.
Called a 5-head.
Here's to big foreheads doesn't mean intelligence. Yeah, you got that right. You got that right. 4 head plus more equals 5 head. I don't know what that means still, though. Oh, 4 head. Oh, a 5. Oh, I get it. 4 head. That's a 5 head. I see. Yeah, well, I wasn't thinking mathematically that the 4 was a number. Okay, so you got to forgive me for not getting the joke. Yeah, and then Kubi said 25 head. Yeah, that's more what I was thinking. More like just gigantic. They already have 5 heads, so if you multiply 5 times 5, you get 25, right? So I agree with Kubi's number system there. It makes more sense. Hey, thanks, Tawny Lee. Okay, well, let's see. There is more down. Let me just get through this thing. I think we made it. Maybe we did make it. Oh, yeah, we made it to the bottom. All right, so we're done with the updates on that. It sounds like everything's under control. They've got the guy.
Chewbacca?
Well, I'm not just always literal. It's just when it says forehead, I wasn't thinking about numbers at the time. I didn't catch on. I got it later after Billy Giuliani put it out there where it was really obvious for me. 4 head plus more equals 5. Yeah. Yeah, but I guess in general, I am more literal. Because when you're doing like true crime and you're looking for facts and people start just throwing out a bunch of strange stuff, that's where I need to embrace my girl code ability to understand those different nuances that you guys that you seem to understand when I have no clue what the hell you're talking about. It sounds like his dad tried to feed him to alligator. Yeah, we know. We've been going over that. Did we play the whole thing? I think we did. Yeah. Hey, by the way, are any of you guys watching on Netflix my dad, we went to breakfast with my parents this morning. Yeah, no, it wasn't a criticism. We went to breakfast with my parents, and he told me to watch the show called Emergency New York. Man, that's so good. It's a real documentary of New York medical world, and it's just, I don't know, it's pretty good. I liked it. I recommend watching that one. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. I almost clicked on it the other day just on my own, and then today I ended up watching about 7 or 8 episodes as it was throughout the day while I was doing things. It was awesome. Real stories, gunshot wounds, but it's just sort of, it's different, done differently than other things that you've seen. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. They had 2 births on there, kind of gets you sort of emotional. I mean, they show the C-section right as the baby's coming out, and they're like cleaning it, and then they hold it up, and just the joy that the mother, and it's pretty good. And then they have gunshot and then, you know, tumors and stuff on people. You know, just some of it kind of sucks for, you know, they didn't show a lot of deaths or anything like that. It's just bad situations, you know. This one guy, his uncle accidentally shot him in the neck or something and paralyzed, but it didn't really rip his spinal cord or anything like that. But he had so much hope. But he was even breathing through like one of those things like Christopher Reeve, you know, through the neck, tracheotomy type thing. Yeah, just, you know, he had a surgery and he was so optimistic, but we don't know how it turned out. Maybe there's one more episode to go. Maybe on that one it talks about it again. But yeah, Emergency New York. Yeah. I mean, they do life flights. You know, one lady's talking about how she's been working there for 13 years and now she can't work there anymore because she didn't want to get one of the vaccines at the time. So this is shot sort of COVID-ish, you know, like 2021. Might have even been longer, like 2020 through more recently. And she was doing her last flight there. I mean, that kind of sucked. At the time, here's the reality, you guys. Like, when COVID came out, they told us that the vaccine would protect, would make it so that you couldn't give it to other people. Okay, it would make it so that you couldn't get it, and you wouldn't be able to transmit it to other people because you wouldn't have it. All of that stuff turns out to be completely false. Okay, the truth was that if you got COVID or you got a vaccine, you were protected from the virus if you were to get it again after recovering from getting it the first time, or if you get a shot and you build up your antibodies that way. It protects you, but it doesn't keep you from catching it whatsoever. Okay, if you're somebody that can catch COVID, having a vaccine, turns out it doesn't help you from catching it at all. Okay, so at that point, and it turns out masks didn't help at all. N95s maybe, if everybody was wearing those, but masks themselves did not help out. The little cloth things that people put on, those things didn't help at all. So basically, when people get shots for COVID, it's to protect them if and when they get COVID. It doesn't protect anybody else at all. Okay? That's the reality of it. It doesn't help stop the spread of it. It just makes it so that way less people die from it because they're protected. So there you go. All right. So I remember at the beginning they just told us a bunch of crap, and I believed a lot of it because you're supposed to believe the officials and whatnot, right? But the truth is the way they did things in Florida and other places, keeping things open. That's just the way to do it. That's the way it should have been been done this whole time. Instead, we just decimated our economy and a lot of different things and kids' lives because we were sold a bunch of stuff that turns out it wasn't quite as accurate as they made it seem like. And that sucks. But I'm glad for everybody who got vaccinated. It really helped protect if you got it. So, in that sense, because I was telling everybody, hey, man, you got to go. I've gotten all the vaccines on that one. I've got a third eyeball in the back of my head now that I can see behind me, but I just call that a benefit. And I feel safer with that because I haven't had COVID yet. Yeah, third eyeball in the back of my head. Yeah, so, I think people who get vaccines are smart. And, if you happen to catch it, you don't need one because you're well protected with your antibodies, and probably more so than somebody with a vaccine because your antibodies kicked in and has a much larger coverage of various elements. The vaccine just put in antibodies specifically, kind of more of a generic thing. Yeah, exactly, Jessica Schubach. Yeah, so, I'll probably still get them, as they come out. But there's so many different variants now, and, how do you... Yeah, it's just... Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that had the vaccine and they got it, and it's possible that they're even able to tell you that in the chat right now because they had the vaccine. But it turns out all these nurses and everybody who lost their jobs should never have lost their jobs. It has nothing to do with anything. They couldn't have... see, the thing is, while they were working, if they caught COVID, they just would have had no protection themselves, but it doesn't keep it from spreading around. So I think they should get back and get all of those nurses and doctors back on the job right now, don't you think? Just say, hey, man, sorry for what happened there. Let's get you back in here. Now, let me ask you something. Is the conversation that I'm having right now political? I didn't call in to listen to politics. I'm telling you, this is the information that is real right now. This isn't false information that I'm telling you. This is actually what it's turned into after all these years. This is literally the truth, is that the vaccines merely protect you when you catch the virus. It doesn't help you not catch the virus. It doesn't do anything other than that. It's just basically artificial immunity as opposed to natural immunity by catching it. That's it. And I'll tell you what's a travesty is that people that got COVID are still were required to get shots to somehow get into places and whatnot, fly. Well, how come? How come they didn't just get to have a stamp that said, yes, they've recovered from COVID, they're well protected? Boom. That's it. They didn't have that. Anyways, didn't mean to bore you guys to death there, but hey, that was just part of the show, so it made me think of it. Felt bad for that lady. At the time, I thought it was stupid, but nurses and I was like, God, okay, what do you mean? Why would a nurse not taking it? You're making it seem like it's, I think in some ways it makes it seem. But you don't have to tell people that you took the shot. So if there's people that you think should take the shot and the nurse doesn't want to take the shot, you don't have to say, hey, that nurse didn't take one. But I used to think it was dumb as hell, but it's weird how over time it's changed to completely, it's totally different than what they were saying originally. Then that's the reality. Okay, so. Yeah. All right, you guys, I'm going to move on to the crazy case of Tracy Nix. And what are we, about halfway or an hour into the show? Well, it's kind of, saying proud is really kind of lame, Bippy. It's not about being proud. It's like, it's not a badge of honor not to get a vaccine. Okay. Yeah, it's not a badge of honor not to be tested or not to get a vaccine or anything like that. It's not some weird. See, that's a political type of comment. Like, oh, I'm so proud. I'm just, oh yeah. Yeah, it's just you do what you do. That's it. Okay. Right. We learn over time, they say the only way out is through... What, boom? Well, okay, Full Sendington said, I'm proud of my vaccine, Gray. It defines who I am, basically. That's awesome. Me too, man. Yeah, but at the beginning I was like, man, I still believe that it's really important if you're unvaccinated, unless you're just one of the really lucky people. Yeah, I know it's sarcasm, Dina. That's why I thought it was funny. You get it, right? I would tell people, man, you guys got to get this, because it was killing 1% of 1.5% of everybody that caught the damn thing. And so then it, so it does protect people, okay? That's it. If you don't want to be protected, then you're not protected. It is sort of weird with the insurance thing, though. If you're one of the people that didn't get shots and you go into the hospital and you have to be on ventilation and all these different countermeasures and it costs so much money, should insurance cover that because you're the one that decided not to do that? So that was one issue that was sort of interesting.
Love your man.
All right, Scouting Dude. Everybody loves Scouting Dude. He fought for our country, got wounded, and, boom. Also weak G. Huh? Yeah. Okay, here comes the Tracy Nix story, you guys. This is the crazy case where this grandmother has, under her watch, 2 different, quote, accidental deaths on her watch in an 11-month period. Yeah, so I went and found the actual obituaries out there. So here's one right here, Ezra Franklin Schock. And it says right here, Ezra Franklin Schock was born August 13th, 2020 in Sebring, Florida, and received his wings on December 23rd, 2021 in Tampa, Florida, surrounded by his loving family. Despite his short time on earth, he was deeply loved and brought immense joy to those around him. Ezra will be forever remembered for his tender spirit and loving smile. He was his brother's best friend, and the light of his parents' eye. It was impossible to not smile in his presence. He will be desperately missed by his parents, Kaila and Drew Schock, and his brother Asher. He is also survived by his grandparents, Tracy and, see, look at right there, Tracy and Nix. Tracy is the grandmother. Joanne and Greg Schock, his aunt and uncle, Okay, so then you have that one. Then, check it out. Uriel Jane Schock. This is, this is just weird, right? Uriel Jane Schock. Your wings were ready, but our hearts were not. Uriel Jane Schock received her wings on November 1st, 2022. At only 8 months old, Uriel means God is our might in Hebrew, and she truly was the light of our parents' life. She was a gift from God, born on March 5th, 2022, only a few short months after the loss of her big brother Ezra. Although her time on earth was short, she touched the hearts of many and was loved deeply by her family and friends. So, I wonder if it says the grandparents, Nix, and interesting. She is survived by her grandfather, Nix, but they don't mention her in here. That's interesting. Yeah, they took her name out of that thing. So Nix, but they got rid of Tracy Nix out of this because they probably went, man, there's something else maybe going on here. But don't you think that's interesting? Is survived by her grandfather. And then you go to that page before and it said survived by his grandparents, Tracy and Nix. You go to this one and it says Tracy's gone from that. That's awesome that they did that. All right, and then there's a newspaper that I randomly found online called the Herald Advocate here. And it says, In less than 11 months, a second infant has died who was left in the care of former principal Tracy Nix. 8-month-old Uriel Jane Schock died November 1st. The infant was discovered unresponsive inside a vehicle at Nix's home in the 1400 block of Kazan Road in Wauchula. Yeah, so I think I have that. Hold on. Yeah, Kazan Road, yeah, so that's their house right there. Hardy County Fire Rescue was dispatched to the scene at 5:04 p.m. and began life-saving efforts. The infant was transported to an area hospital before being declared deceased. Hold on a second. Where is... Are you still there, quietly frozen? Oh, well, I'll just go check the other room where my wife... That's pretty funny. Hardy County Fire Rescue was dispatched to the scene at 5:04 p.m. and began life-saving efforts. The infant was transported to an area hospital before being declared... says decreased. It meant to say deceased. Nix was taken to a medical facility for continued observation. Nix is the former principal of North Wauchula Elementary School. She was reading teacher at Hardy Junior High School at the time of her retirement. She was a reading teacher. Okay. The school district of Hardy County, and later worked at a private school in Wauchula. Services for the infant were held Tuesday, November 8th, at First Baptist Church. Uriel, God is my light, in Hebrew, was born March 5th, 2022. And it says on P. Uriel's brother, Ezra Franklin Schock, died December 23rd, so 2 days before Christmas, after he was discovered unconscious in a retention pond. Oops. It's right there. On the Nix property on December 22nd, the investigation into the circumstances concerning Uriel's death are continuing. The Hardy County Sheriff's Office towed the vehicle in which the child was found to the Sheriff's Office for forensic investigation last week. As of press time on Tuesday, no arrest has been made in connection to the death. Under Florida law, it is illegal to leave a child under 6 years old unattended or unsupervised in a motor vehicle for any longer than 15 minutes. Captain David Drake of the Hardy County Sheriff's Office told the Herald Advocate on Tuesday afternoon that the file has been forwarded to the Office of the State Attorney for review. So this is back in November 10th, so last year. And now we're moving to March 27th. Toddler drowns, infant left in hot car less than a year apart at grandma's house. See, the thing is hot car deaths are a real phenomenon. But we're in a situation here where, I mean, like even in the Justin Ross Harris case, I thought he should get some sort of negligent charge. He got malice murder, which was absolute bullshit, okay? Now, in a case like this, though, because the other kid died so soon before, you almost wonder if there's something else going on here, you know, than this all being an accident. Because how does that even happen? A little infant makes it all the way out to a pond. You know, here's where the pond is. It's this one right here. And that's the house. And all of a sudden the baby's out in the pond. I mean, how does it get there? Man, this is what it looks like from the ground right here. I mean, there's the pond. That's the house. And maybe it crawled under the fence and made it into the pond. I don't know. It wasn't until one of Tracy's grandsons arrived, the complaint affidavit said, that all of a sudden it came across her head that Uriel had been in the SUV. Okay, so up here it says, Uriel's mother, Kaila Nix, had gone to get her hair done that day and had asked her mom to babysit. It wasn't until one of Tracy's grandsons arrived, the complaint affidavit said, that all of a sudden it came across her head that Uriel had been in the SUV all afternoon. Her husband, Nunne Nix, immediately began CPR. Temperatures in the Wauchula had reached 90 degrees, so man, that kid was dead hours before that. The Lexus SUV was parked in the yard with the windows rolled up. Tracy, a former school principal in Hardee County, was charged with aggravated manslaughter. The pretrial hearing, that's interesting, aggravated. Let's see what aggravated means. I mean, in this case, what does that mean? Is a first-degree felony that is punished up to 30 years in prison. I think it's, you know what I think it mainly is? Because another kid was killed and now they're thinking something else is here. Because most of the time, stuff like that is just an accident. But man, it's hard to think of it now when there's another accident and you killed both your own daughter's kids. Victim is dead. The death of the victim was caused by the culpable negligence of defendant. Victim was at the time an elderly person, disabled adult, or a child, and the victim's death was caused by neglect. Victim was an officer, firefighter, emergency medical technician, or paramedic who was at the time performing duties. So it's number 3. Yeah, and probably 2 also. Well, 1, 2, and 3. A caregiver failure of a mission to provide an elderly person with the care, supervision, and services necessary to maintain a child or an elderly person's physical and mental health. Okay. It wasn't until one of three. Okay, we did that part. Temperatures in Wauchula. Tracy, a former school principal in Hardee County, was charged with aggravated manslaughter. Uriel's death is prompting her parents, Kaila and Drew Schock, to share their family's story with ABC Action News I-Team. After identifying their daughter at the hospital, Drew said he remembers standing in the parking lot trying to grasp what happened. And you guys, we're back into the reading mode, everybody, where this is what it sounds like in my head. Yeah, I don't know how the baby got in the pond. And let's see. And that is actually, okay. To think of the last moments of her life as a mother is gut-wrenching, Kaila said. After identifying her daughter at the hospital, Drew said he remembers standing in the parking lot trying to grasp what happened. To think of the last moments of her life as a mother is gut-wrenching. And that is actually just effing happened twice in our lifetime, Drew said. Twice in less than a year. One family, 2 kids, their deaths, both were in their grandmother Tracy's care. Kaylee and Drew grew up in Wauchula, a small town in Hardee County with a population of less than 5,000. They reconnected 5 years ago after what began as a high school friendship. They soon decided to have kids and raise their children where they had roots. I don't know if they're married, though. They have different last names, but I mean, people do that. They soon decided to have kids and raise their children where they had roots. This was the plan. We were going to have 3 kids, and you know what I mean? That was our goal, Drew told the I-Team. It's really difficult to know that my mom is the one that, broke his heart, Kaila said, handing Drew a tissue. You know, my mom. Kaila said her son's story has gotten lost in her daughter's. Uriel's 16-month-old brother Ezra also died while he was at the grandmother's, Tracy's, home. He drowned in a nearby pond. Drew got the call from Kayla's father 3 days before Christmas 2021. He goes, something happened to Ezra. Drew said, who then called Kaila. She said she rushed to her parents' home as fast as she could, driving 85 miles an hour on county roads. I could see the helicopter landing, Kaila said. I didn't look when there was a stop sign. Kaila, who was 6 months pregnant at the time, oh, that's interesting, with the eventual baby who's going to die later, was in a head-on crash with another driver. What? Kaila, who was 6 months pregnant at the time, was in a head-on crash with another driver. All my airbags went off. I don't remember how I got out, but I got out and started running to my parents' house. At this point, I don't have shoes. I'm just running, Kaila said. That was my desperation to get to my son. Kaila said during the investigation into her son's death, her doctor told her she needed to make a choice. They withheld information from me, per my request, per my doctor's advice, that any information that would work me up or make me emotionally distressful would be harmful to my unborn child, Kaila said. And I knew in that moment that as much as I loved him, that she was a real life, and she was coming, and it would be wrong of me to lose her over him and hurt her and take her. Kaila said everything happened so fast. So that's the grandmother right there. There wasn't a moment to get a grip on the death of my son before there was the life of my daughter, and how beautiful is that. Her name is Uriel, and in Hebrew name, and it means God is my light, and she came out so small, she was beautiful and just radiant. Kaila and Drew had never seen the incident report detailing how Ezra drowned the afternoon his grandmother Tracy fell asleep. A detective wrote that a complaint affidavit for a child neglect would be filed and forwarded to the state attorney's office for further review. Kaila said it wasn't until charges were filed against her mother in the death of her daughter Uriel that she learned they had attempted to file charges in her son Ezra's death. Oh, is this the report? Might have to take a look at that. Just a second. And you guys, we were having a good night there, so it's always good to get a good first night of the month here. So if you guys feel like if you can afford it and help support the channel, that'd be awesome. If you can't, then hit the like button. I appreciate it. But yeah, like I said before, every single night on here we try to raise funds to help support me and my channel, and allows me to donate a ton of money to charities at the same time. And without that, we don't do that. But I know the economy isn't that great right now, so if people, I don't want you not being able to buy bread or food or have some struggle in life by sending a nickel to this channel. All right, so thank you. All right, where is it? I've got Scribd already.
Chewbacca?
How do I download this thing?
Chewbacca if you want me to.
A little late, but better late than never. God bless everyone.
I've already got Scribd, so I'm not sure. Maybe if I take that, go to Scribd. Thanks, Betty Smith. Did I do it with this one then? Oh, maybe I did have that. Oh, okay. Let me go do this again. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm not thinking it's, I mean, I think there's something else going on. I mean, there are weird coincidences, but man, that's just too much. Although it is classic how the hot car death portion worked. So. And thanks earlier to Pamela and Aaron Bremer and Vicky for Cash Apps. Thank you. Yeah, I want to check this out. I want to see what happened here. Alright, let's see what it said. I responded to the incident location, a dwelling property, in reference to a child drowning. EMS was on the scene tending the victim on my arrival. The homeowner's Nunne Nix was outside, and he told me his wife, Tracy Nix, was inside changing clothes. I determined... Why was she changing clothes? I determined the following series of events based on the statements made to me by the Nix and their neighbor. The victim was being supervised by his grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Nix, at their home. No one else was at the home. There is a large pond that is stocked with ducks located in the west side of their property within feet of their home. Mr. Nix was rocking the victim in a recliner in the living room. His wife was on an adjacent sofa. Mr. Nix stated he left the victim sleeping in the recliner and left his wife, who he said was awake, to go to Walmart and run some errands. Mrs. Nix corroborated this, but told me that she drifted off to sleep and was not awake when her husband left. At some point, Mrs. Nix awoke and couldn't find the victim. I mean, how old is this kid? This is Ezra, right? So Ezra is August. So the kid is like 1 1/4, 16 months old. 1 1/3. I mean, can you make it that far? I mean, are you really going to be a baby, get off of a rocking chair, somehow make it out of a door, climb through the yard, go under a fence, and then go into a pond? See, that just seems really odd and strange. But, I mean, this is the story that the guy is telling, too. So, at some point, Mrs. Nix awoke and couldn't find the victim. She told me the garage entrance door was ajar. She searched outside for the victim and drove her vehicle to the end of the driveway and looked down the road. At some point, she called her husband and informed him she couldn't find the victim. She said she turned around to drive back to the residence. She saw the victim face down in the pond. She drove over to him and pulled him out of the water and started CPR that she had been trained on from working for a school system. She did not call 911. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Didn't call 911? A neighbor heard her screaming and told me he saw Mrs. Nix giving CPR to the victim on the ground. He said her vehicle was parked along the fence in the front yard, consistent with their statement to me. He never saw the victim in the water, nor did he see Mrs. Nix pull the victim from the water. He stated when he returned to the yard, Mr. Nix had arrived and joined Mrs. Nix in performing CPR. Mr. Nix consented for me to enter his home. He showed me the living room layout and described where everyone had been seated. He confirmed that he used the garage door to leave the home, I advised him that his wife stated she found the door ajar, and he shook his head and said he closed the door. Oh boy. I asked Mr. Nix how much time had elapsed from when he left for Walmart and when he received a call from his wife. I wonder if this is like one of that, Munchausen by proxy sort of situations, like, where, I don't know what you call it, but like, she likes the drama. I don't know, man. It just seems so weird. I mean, the husband even contradicts what she said, that he shut that door and that's her little out. Oh, the door, he left the door open. I asked Mr. Nix how much time had elapsed from when he left for Walmart and when he received the call from his wife. 15, 20, 25 minutes, he said. He said it could have been up to an hour. I measured the distance from the floor to the door handle, and it's 35 inches. The handle was a pole handle and not a knob style fixture, which could be easily opened by the victim if they could reach it to pull down on it. I asked Mr. Nix if they had any issues with the victim opening doors before, and he indicated interior doors. I was informed the victim was airlifted to TGH with a faint pulse. Both parents were called by Mr. Nix and responded to the scene prior to the victim being transported. I checked the CAD system and found no prior incidents involving child abuse or neglect. At this time, the incident appears to be a tragic accident involving a non-criminal negligence. In order to establish the elements of child neglect, the defendant must expose the victim to personal injury through culpable negligence. So each of us has a duty, Okay, well, that was the incident report there. Is this another one? Supplemental? Let's see. While directing traffic, a white SUV arrived. The female subject exited the SUV and verbally stated she was involved in a traffic crash believed to be at... So this is the mother. The subject verbally stated she left the traffic to come to check on her child at this location. I directed the subject to the residence. I forwarded the traffic crash information to dispatch. Dispatch advised they are aware of the traffic crash. I then responded to the intersection. Upon arrival, I observed 2 wrecked vehicles at the intersection. Deputies were already on the scene providing aid to subjects involved in the crash. I parked my patrol vehicle in the intersection and directed traffic around the crash site. I provided dispatch with the tag numbers for both of the wrecked vehicles. Let's see if I had no further involvement in the case. Another supplemental. On the above date, I arrived at the incident location and took some photographs. I met with Nun Nix. Nun allowed me access to wherever I needed to take pictures. Nun was asked that he and Tracy come to the Hardy County Sheriff's Office for a formal interview. Tracy asked for it to be tomorrow at 12:30:21 as she wanted to complete her packing up of Christmas items. I advised that it was totally up to them. They agreed on the time of 10 a.m. I don't know, that stuff's not really... What's this one here? Maybe that one's... Hey, thank you, Zach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Gray.
No, thank you. On the above date, the Nix arrived at the scheduled time for their interviews. I spoke with Nun Nix first, and this is a summary of the conversation. He and Tracy... Man, this person can barely write or something. I soak. It's supposed to be spoke. He and Tracy were both inside the home with Ezra Schock. Nun was rocking Ezra in the recliner when Ezra fell asleep. Nun had some errands to run. Okay, so Tracy was inside the home with Ezra. Nun was rocking Ezra on the recliner when Ezra fell asleep. So Nunn had some errands to run, and he left. When he left, Tracy was awake. Nunn stated that he pulled the door to the garage shut and placed a metal Dachshund doorstop behind the door. Nunn said he does this because Ezra being able to open doors now, and this helps to prevent Ezra from being able to do this. Nunn stated that Ezra did not like water, that he hated getting a bath. Ezra was mobile. Man, this it almost sounds like Nunn is trying to say, hey, I think my wife did something here. Nunn stated that Ezra did not like water, that he hated getting a bath. Ezra was mobile and walked around the home freely. Nunn and Tracy would monitor him, of course. Nunn stated that he would take Ezra on the side-by-side and see the duck and rest, see the ducks with an S, right, and rest of their animals, and the rest of the animals. Nunn said that Ezra was able to grab door handles and open doors. Nunn stated that he has seen Ezra grab the door handle of the double doors inside, and deadbolt was the only thing that prevented him from getting the door open. Ezra grabbed the door handle of the double doors inside and okay. Nunn stated that he left and was gone about 2 hours. Nunn left and got gas. He then went to the bank, then grocery shopping at Walmart. He got the call from Tracy and completed checking out and on his way home. When Nunn arrived home, Tracy was still in her pajamas and giving CPR to Ezra. Nunn told Tracy that EMS would soon be here to change clothes. Okay, when Nunn arrived home, Tracy was still in her pajamas and giving CPR to Ezra. Nunn told Tracy that EMS would soon be here and to go change her clothes. She left and went inside. Why, though? See, why did somebody suggest to her to change her clothes? Who cares what somebody's wearing? That's really fishy to me. Does that bother any of you guys? I mean, I'm not trying to overplay something. I'm just saying you're giving CPR to a child on the ground that appears to need life-saving measures, and then EMS is coming. Are you going to say to your wife, hey, you need to go change clothes because the EMS is coming? Really? When Nunn arrived home, Tracy was still in her pajamas and giving CPR to Ezra, the small child. Nunn told Tracy that EMS would soon be here to change clothes. She left and went inside. Nunn stayed with Ezra and continued CPR until EMS arrived. I don't know, man. There's something else here. I mean, it feels like it. I mean, that's that little element right there, and the fact that he says that the door was shut and even put this little stopper behind it. He must know and have some suspicion about her. What do you guys think? Does that bother you, that element? Because it really does me. I just can't picture that. I mean, a 65-year-old woman, she's got pajamas on, she's doing CPR, and he says, yeah, they're going to be here soon. Go change your clothes. I don't know. Maybe there's something on that clothing. Maybe she was wet, for example. I don't know. Next is the summary of the interview with Tracy. So now this is the one with Tracy. So hold on. Yeah, jeez. Just sneeze. All right. So this is Tracy Nix. This is the grandmother. Tracy stated that she and Nunn were both in the home with Ezra. She thought it was special that Nunn was rocking Ezra in the chair. Tracy said that Ezra fell asleep, and since Nunn needed to run errands, he left. Tracy stated that she was sitting with her feet up and then ended up falling asleep. Tracy stated that This most likely happened due to, I don't know what that means. I mean, why they blocked that out. Tracy stated that this can cause her to be tired. Well, maybe it's some... that's probably really important to this, whatever that word is there. So think of a word that would have a tailing. You can see that there's a little bit of, so that means it's something that drops down below, kind of like a G or a Y, or something that drops down below, a P maybe, I bet. So what's a word that as the second letter is a P in it that you might have as a diagnosis? A P is in there. No, but that's too far. It has to be the second letter. Billy Juliana. Thank you, Simple Life Days. Appreciate it. Thank you. Epilepsy due to epilepsy. That might be something. Due to epilepsy, Tracy stated that this can cause her to be tired. Yeah, that's one of the side effects, right? Tracy stated that at night she will take some sort of a medication. And again, probably for... Tracy stated that she has been taking this regimen for about 15 years. Thank you, Snug with Pug. By the way, I always think pugs are cute dogs. They're so ugly, they're cute. That's the thing about pugs. So they end up being cute because they're ugly. Yeah, it's funny too because they have this weird breathing thing. They're like. No, the P is the second letter in it. I think that was right up above their epilepsy, maybe. Yeah, I think they're just so cute, though. There's like these little... I don't know. I'm not even sure, like a teddy bear running around, but with a kind of a whacked out, like weird face. But that's my lizard eye version of a compliment. I like them. Tracy stated that she had been taking this regimen for 15 years, and when she wakes up, she's refreshed and wide awake. She was not sure what made her fall asleep this morning. Tracy stated that normally, when Nunn leaves, he puts the metal door stopper, Dachshund, up against the door because their cat can open the door. Oh. Tracy stated that Ezra cannot open the door, and therefore it was not needed for that. Tracy's, that's weird, because that's exactly the opposite of what the husband said. Tracy stated that she has never seen Ezra open any doors in the home and was unaware that he would be able to pull down on the handle-style door. Tracy stated that she woke up unsure of how long she was asleep. She stated she began looking for Ezra inside. The search then went outside, looking around the house. Tracy stated that she got into her car and drove to the end of her long driveway, approximately 343 feet, about 100 yards, 110 yards. Tracy then turned east on a road, I'm not sure why they blocked that out, and drove to the stop sign approximately, so let's see, we can just see what she did. So she went east and then went to a stop sign. And how far did they say that was? 817 feet. So just go right there. Actually, I'll use this one. So that's already too far. So it's right there. That's the stop sign. So she went to the stop sign. Then Tracy stated she then turned around and drove about the same distance west past her house. This is about something. Okay, let's see. So if it was about the same direction the other way, she probably... Man, can't stand when it does this stupid... Yeah. So that would be, generally about right here if you were gonna. Tracy then turned around thinking that a 60-month-old couldn't have walked that far. Tracy stated she believed that this is when she called none. He was completing his checkout and was en route. Tracy stated that she was driving back down her driveway. She's not sure why, but she looked over and it says seen, but it should be saw, a white item in the pond. She wasn't sure what it was, thinking it was anything other than Ezra. I think you thought it was Ezra, that's why you noticed it. She drove in that direction and realized it was Ezra. She jumped out of her vehicle and ran to the water. Ezra was face down, about knee-deep in the water. Tracy stated she began CPR. After the... see, isn't it just really convenient? So here's the thing. The husband leaves, and then she's alone by herself and claims she was sleeping. And then the baby's dead in the pond. What are the odds of that? And the only reason to me that makes it kind of nefarious is because now there's another incident. I could easily buy into this being something, but even the way the story is just the way it is there's some things in it that just don't make sense. She's wearing pajamas, so the mother, the father, or the husband of, what's her name again? Tracy or something? Yeah. Says, hey, yeah, go change clothes before EMS gets here. Why? Was there something on the clothing that may have given a clue? Detective Ward measured the door that Ezra came out of. The handle measured 35 inches. According to the medical examiner, Ezra's reach would have been 36 inches. But see, that's 1 inch. How can you turn a door handle? The door handle in question is a lever, so I guess that could get you just above your knuckle on top of it. Thank you, Jennifer Ladybugs. So I guess I could get you just that part here, right like that on top of it.
I received my notebook and awesome stress ball.
Oh,
Thank
cool.
you so much, Gray, for all you do. Heart.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Let's see. The door handle in question is a lever-style handle. It was downward swoop to it, putting the lowest point at 34.5. Okay. Looking at the door, there was a turnstile deadbolt on the inside. Was the turn part with the key access part facing the garage. There was no toddler door handle safety guard on this door or any other door that I could see. I called Tracy via the phone as I needed the name of her medication. She told me that she has 1 bottle of da-da-da-da-da. Tracy stated that she most likely went to bed at 9:30 to 10 o'clock and woke up at around 9:30 to 10 a.m. I don't understand. What are you talking about? A complaint affidavit for child neglect will be filed and forwarded to the SAO for further review. Tracy stated that she most likely went to bed. Oh, that same night or what? Okay, so I guess we'll go over the facts over here again. Tracy was a primary caregiver supervisor at the time of the incident. Tracy fell asleep while watching Ezra. This could have been from something, epilepsy maybe. The number one symptom of epilepsy, I don't know if that's really what it is. The side effects of all three of the above listed medications are, and spread out the effects over time. Tracy stated that she took this medication prior to bed. Tracy stated that she thinks she was in bed by 9:30 to 10 o'clock and woke up the next morning at 8:30. What are you talking about? What the hell are they talking about here? You went to sleep the whole night and the next day you found the baby? They just said it was 2 hours before. I don't get this part. The call came in at 12:52. Oh, so this is the next day then. So you get up at 8:30 to 9, and then sometime in the afternoon is when your husband was holding the baby on his lap. None believes he was gone about 2 hours. So the call came in at 12:52. None believes he was gone for about 2 hours. That would have made it 10:52. So about 2 hours after she woke up, she was Nunn was holding the baby in his arms on the rocking chair. Tracy said that Ezra, 60-month-old victim, had fallen asleep in a chair. Her husband, Nunn Nix, left to run errands. When she woke up, Ezra was missing. Tracy stated that she drove down her long driveway, approximately 343 feet, then turned around, driving 817 feet to the stop sign, or went east to the stop sign. Tracy then turned around and drove west about the same distance past the driveway, another 817 feet. She drove back home where she located Ezra face down in the family pond. The location where Ezra was found in the pond is about 282 feet from the center of the outside garage door opening. So is this going to be over here? That's the garage door, I would imagine. Let's make sure. Yeah, maybe not. Well, this is also from 2012. It almost looks like they've added something on it. Let's see. Let me move. This is November. This is... Wow, this is right around the same time. This is page 12. Yeah, this is just before this happened. That was December 22nd. And we're looking at Google Earth from... This is from November 2021. So 1 month before. Looked just like this. So maybe that's the garage door right here. So what did they say? It was 200 and... It was found in the pond. 282 feet. So if I got the circle one, maybe just go from like right here, feet. So that's 281 feet. So maybe over here or over there, but I would imagine right over here maybe. Unless you had to get into the water. Found in the pond is about 282 feet from the center of the outside garage door opening. The errand that Dunn ran consisted of getting gas, and then he went to the bank to conduct business. His last stop was grocery shopping. This was completed as he had groceries in his truck upon his return. Nunn stated that he placed a heavy doorstop on the door leading to the garage from the home just for Ezra to prevent him from opening the door. Tracy stated that this day the door stopper was not in place. The doorstop was for the cat, as the cat can open the door. Tracy stated she had never seen Ezra open any doors. Nunn stated that Ezra can open doors, and the only thing that stopped him from opening an inside door was a deadbolt lock. Tracy stated that Ezra loved baths. What's interesting about the story is it should be reverse of what they're saying. I mean, Tracy should be the one saying, "Oh, I've seen him open doors all the time," because that allows him to get out the door. But she claimed that Nunn left the door open, but he says, "No, I shut it and put the door stopper." So, sort of interesting dynamic there. Nunn stated that Ezra can open doors. Okay, Tracy stated that Ezra loved baths. She was not for sure he liked the ponds. What? She was not for sure he liked the pond, as they didn't spend much time there with him. Nunn stated, probably she was not sure. Nunn stated that Ezra hated water. He hated taking baths with his brother. Nunn did say that in the past, he has taken Ezra for a ride on the side-by-side. This included seeing the ducks by the pond. Tracy and Nunn did not have any safety door handles in place for the prevention of Ezra being able to open the door. The door leading to the garage from the house, and most doors inside, has a large swooping level style handle above the door that Ezra used was a deadbolt that was not in use this day. The bottom, I don't know who's writing this stuff, but it's really poor grammar. I mean, like god awful, really. The bottom of the door handle is about 34.5. Ezra reaches across to the medical examiner was 36 inches. It is reasonable based on the aforementioned information that Tracy Nix did commit the act of child neglect as defined in Florida State Statute 827.02. That was the first one, so it doesn't sound like they did anything with that. Yeah, and so here's the grandmother right there. This is the mother, Kaila Nix. Tracy Nix was looking after her granddaughter that Tuesday as her daughter, Kaila Nix, was getting her hair done. After the death of Ezra, Kaila and partner Drew Schock didn't trust Tracy at all. So they didn't trust so after their first child's death, they didn't trust her at all and would never let their 4-year-old firstborn stay with the mother. We were anxious, but I loved my mother, and I'm a daughter that wanted her mom in her life in some capacity, and in that moment I thought that I could believe in second chances, Kaila said. Isn't that weird? 1 second chance and there's another death. I mean, tell me what the odds of that are. She said the very minor amount of time that Nix saw Uriel was almost always supervised. But Uriel was left unattended on November 22nd until one of Tracy's grandsons arrived, and all of a sudden she realized she had left the infant in the car all day. Her husband, Nunn, Nix, performed CPR on the child. How weird is that for both of them? Performing CPR on 2 different child of the same daughter. Just stupid. Speaking to WFTS Tampa, Kaila said, "If I'm objective, she needs to go to prison. And as her daughter, it kills me to say it. As their mother, I demand it." So that's kind of refreshing, actually. You know, they said they would want Ezra and Uriel to know that we love them and that we are sorry. Ezra Nix drowned I mean, you know, you have one child die, and then 10 months later, you give the mother another chance because what are the odds? And then you do it again? Man, I don't really blame the daughter for having a moment of like, okay, let's see, Mom. I mean, I love you, Mom. Let's try it one more time. You know, I mean, it's just, yeah, brutal. Yeah, I think there very well could be something else going on here. Especially the part that bothers me a lot still is, you know, here, hurry up and go change your clothes. The EMS is coming. Who cares? She's giving CPR to a dying child, and you're telling her to go hurry up and go change clothes because EMS is going to be here? Her husband, I mean, how does it even pop into your mind? They said they would want Ezra and Uriel to know that we love them and that we are sorry. Ezra Nix drowned in a pond near Tracy's home while unattended just days before Christmas 2021. A Hardy County police report said that Tracy was at home with Ezra when he died. She had fallen asleep on the couch in the living room while her partner was running errands. Tracy then found a young Ezra lying face down, about knee-deep in a large pond. She did not call 911 and started CPR as reportedly learned during her time as educator. Tracy's husband then called Drew, who told the child's mother something happened to Ezra. Oh, God. Think about what the daughter felt like. Kaila, I mean, I'd be shocked if they stay together, this couple here. That's too much. Kaila, who was then 6 months pregnant, sped to her mother's house, hitting 85 miles an hour on county roads and was involved in a head-on collision with another car. Seeing the helicopter land overhead, she said she got out and ran without shoes to her mother's house in desperation. Tracy was not charged for the one-time lapse of judgment. On Facebook, distraught mother, Kaila, told her heartbreak as her son was taken off life support and died in the arms on December 23, 2021. Uriel was born 3 months later in March. She said 2 hours after leaving her mother with Uri to attend an appointment, Hardy County Sheriff's Office told her that her mother had left her daughter to die alone in her car. She wrote in November last year, completely broken, traumatized, enraged, devastated, overwhelmed. She now seeks justice for Uriel and Ezra. Man, that's... Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much have the story, you know. Let me do this latest one from today. She was a teacher, principal, and a grandmother, but for Tracy Nix, tragedy struck not once but twice. Both of her grandchildren died while under her care. Despite the first accident with their son, Kaila Nix and Drew Schock were ready to rebuild their relationship with Tracy, but now they're left questioning everything. You know, there are things you won't be able to shield them from, but you never imagine that those things would be and just how damaging and impactful and how complicated they would end up being. The couple never imagined harm would come under the watch of their children's grandmother. We trusted them to watch our son. I respected her family, said Schock. In December 2021, Drew and Kayla's 16-month-old son Ezra died. The Hardy County Sheriff's Office said their son opened doors, went under a fence, and wandered into a pond outside. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I was believing that I was leaving my children at any point with a master's degree, holding, well-educated, well-respected, Sunday school teaching, choir singing, social person. I believe that surely I must be making this other thing with Ezra too much. The sheriff's office said it. DCF told us everything did. I don't even know what the hell. That's just, God, I'm just struggling with the meaning of this shit, the writing in these articles. At the time, Kaila was pregnant with their daughter, Uriel. She was in an accident while rushing to get her parents home for Ezra, yeah. So I still wanted to have a family unit, she said. We looked around and said, what are we going to do? Are we choosing to get what we can never retrieve, or can we salvage what we have, as we were told it was an accident? This was an accident. On November 1st, Tracy picked up 7-month-old Uriel while Kaila went to her hair appointment. So Tracy literally went and picked her up. Tracy took Uriel out to lunch with friends and then brought her back to her home. I mean, that is sort of one of the, somewhat classic hot car situations. Like, it's not something she normally does, and then she went out. But you would think, in her situation, given the fact that she's responsible, basically, for killing another one of the children, that she would have been extra vigilant, not driving home thinking about something else, or at least remembering at some point, because that's what makes this different for me than other ones. If you have a parent that never drives a child to daycare, and then one day, one out of 100, they're asked to do so on the way to work or to daycare, they might actually go on autopilot, drive to work, and forget that the child's even in the back seat. And that does happen. So I always get the holier than thou, oh, it never happened to me because I'm so great. Well, guess what? That always happens to those very same people. But in this case, there's extra elements because you've already killed somebody before, and you probably were begging to be able to see the child and take care of him another time. Give me another chance. And you take care of him, and then you go to the, you leave the child in the car the second you get home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to throw myself in prison here in a minute. Wait. Let's see. She was devastated by this. She loved her grandkids as well. Yeah. Tracy, a former principal and educator in Hardy County for 39 years, was arrested for aggravated manslaughter. See, I totally agree with that. It's probably not murder. And I think Justin Ross Harris should have got something like, not aggravated, but just manslaughter. Some sort of, just negligence. This is, I think this is worse by a long shot than Justin Ross Harris. His was, he was distracted for a reason that the society doesn't agree with, so therefore he's the worst of the worst and committed malice murder. Yeah, bullshit. This one here, she had already killed somebody, basically, by not taking care of a little infant, and the infant crawls outside and dies in a pond, and then given a second chance. Oh, thank you. You forget all about your kid the whole rest of the day, the one that you were in charge of taking care of. I don't think so. So that's all I got on that one. I mean, basically we covered everything. That's it. I mean, what a ridiculous story that is. Jesus. So Ezra dies in this pond right here. And then at the same house, actually, the other child dies in the driveway. Really? 11 months later. Well, it's her grandmother. I don't think that's that flippant, She never left the child with the parent. She just needed to get a haircut one time and thought, okay, I can trust her again. It's been 11 months later. I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't blame the biological mother whatsoever. I mean, if you really truly believe, like everybody was saying, that the first one was an accident, then, you know, if you want to repair and, you know, like give the mom another shot, like, oh, she'll never do that again, and then she did do it again. That's sick. Is anybody there? I only see the last comment is been sitting on the screen for like 10 minutes. I mean, you know what's amazing is before the show starts, you guys blab and blab and blab and blab and blab and blab about absolutely meaningless things. And then when I'm doing the show, and we're going over these cases, you guys have nothing to say. It's unbelievable. You know? All right, so we're going to switch over now to... I had a couple, 2 different ones there. People sent me these. Nikki Zibs sent me one at one point. No, I see comments, and there was like one comment, and then 10 minutes later, another one comment shows up. I've been watching. Now there's people commenting. See that? Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Engrossed in the story. Yeah. How come everybody's engrossed in the really popular big stories, but they're always saying something? So I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. If we were doing the Idaho 4 case, oh, we're engrossed. Oh, but they're all... I mean, you have to set up little timing things, and, you know, like, you can't let people communicate for 2 minutes. You know, throttle them down. Huh? I'm looking up ley lines. What does that even mean, Rebecca? I'm looking up ley lines. What does that mean? Gosh, what a ridiculous. I'm looking up ray lines. Or, I don't know, are you, Hazel? Are you a nut job tonight? I'm not really sure. It's hard to tell. I multitask. I procrastinate, talking too much. My heart goes out. No, I was in a great mood. I'm just saying nobody was, you know, responding to the case. I'm listening in the background, trying to go to sleep. Well, maybe I can help you get to sleep, Betty. I'm listening in the background, trying to go to sleep. Is that supposed to make me feel good? Like, hey, everybody, I use your show to get me to fall asleep. Well, guess what, everybody? I guess that means we head off to prison now. Just like they said earlier, we'll get on to the next case once we get out of here. Man, my head's really big in there. Look at that. Let me see if I hit it against the wall. Yeah, they're good for insomnia. Yeah, great. Excellent. Yep, we got another case to do. Where was the granddad when the second child was in the car? I don't know. So you're saying the granddad did this? Hey, thanks, Kathy, for I didn't make it. For buying the cake mix for the key. Seniors Against Crime and Crime Solvers. Gray Hudges. My name isn't Gray Hudges. But hey, I like Gray Hudges. I'll love Gray Hudges if he'll send me $10. Hey, thanks, Traveling Teresa. Chewbacca. Eugenie. A snap into a Slim Jim.
Seniors Against Crime and Crime Stoppers love Grey Hudges.
Gray Hudges. Whew. Wow. Gray Hudges. Thanks Cindy J, Eugenie, Traveling Teresa, Maretha 563, Kathy Friedenmaker, Alley Cake, Snarky Cinderella. Oh wow, and thanks Bama Forever. Boy, that's going to get me out of the prison with a straight into a hotel room with a taxi cab and a filet mignon. Thanks WNC Granny. And Christy Quasi actually, but I call it Quasi. Thanks, Ma'am Forever, WNC Granny, Christy Kazi, Quietly Frozen for the spoon, right? Wow, what am I doing with the spoon?
I was listening, wondering if this grandma is ad.
I think, well, it's sort of interesting about the grandfather. You know, what was he doing when she was asleep, maybe?
Fail.
Thank you, Susie Clue and Nikki Zibs. All right, well, I can get out of here.
For the spoon.
Now, what does it say? Let's see what this one is. I can't imagine having enough trust in anyone to leave my newborn with someone so negligent for a second time. Well, it was, 7 months later, Maybe you might give your mother another chance, but I don't really blame her for anything. All right.
Great, can I call in after you're done with the Nikki Campbell case?
About what? What call in about what? I don't have any topics. Thank you, Rebecca Ann. Yeah, I think we should keep following that one, but man, there might be more. I think there's a chance that there's more to it than just two completely random, accidental, negligent type events. Don't you? I mean, let me do a poll really quick. Let's see. Is there something... And when I say nefarious, I mean something intentional. Okay? Intentional act. Okay, so I'm going to ask the poll question here. Yeah, I am going over it, but I don't need to have call-in about it or anything. Yeah. I'm just going to go over what I found in the papers and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'd have to set up the whole Zoom thing, and you didn't say that in the email when you sent, hey, here's a case. You didn't say, hey, and I need to call in too. Let's see. Okay. I mean, what were you going to add? Is there something extra that you know about, or? I mean, I could do it if you really want me to, but. My husband's first child drowned like this. He wasn't 2 yet. And in 15-minute time, he stacked toys up so he could reach the lock that was way high and made his way to the lake. That's what they found him, yeah. Why didn't she harm her own babies? I don't know. But I mean, why do you do... I don't know, man. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around that she wasn't more protective of the child after she was finally giving another chance. Now, what's that post there for, Katie? What you just put in there? I don't get it. What's the heart thing? I don't really understand. If you know you have a medical issue, you should not care for someone's child. I'll tell you what. I'll set up the Zoom now because it takes a minute. All right, so I gotta. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't preparing to have people call in, so I'll set it up now. Then when we're done, let's see.
Recording in progress.
Where do I do that one? Over here. But you better call in. You have me set this up. Hold on. It's going to take minutes now.
I do not know a woman who is a mom or grandma who would leave their dying child/grandchild to change their clothes before help came. No way.
Okay, it's set up now. Thanks, Christy, Kazi. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you could make arguments all around, but I think that, to me, it could just be she's that clueless and negligent that you have all these things going on. And maybe it's the medication. I don't know, man. It's too much. Maybe that's how she'll get off. She'll say, yeah, it was a medication, Alright, so I'm switching over to the other case now, alright? This is the Amanda Nicole Campbell case. I think that's what Nikki sent in the other day. Yeah, well, actually, it was about. God, when was that? In February, I think. Right? Is that right? All right. So this is a girl right here that went. There's no picture on this one, but you'll see her in a minute. And I used a couple different newspaper sites, so maybe people in the local area have the answers. Police search for missing girl. Police and volunteers went door to door, combed fields and gullies, and passed out thousands of. This is in California, near. I think it's kind of. Well, it says Chico, California, but it seemed like it was sort of near. I guess it's Fairfield is the name of the area, right? Let me make a little folder here really quick. Where is it? Oops. Amanda Nicole Campbell. Okay, let me just start over. Police and volunteers went door to door, combed fields and gullies, and passed out thousands of flyers in hopes of finding 4-year-old girl who disappeared last week. Amanda Nicole Campbell apparently was on her way to a friend's house when she vanished Friday afternoon. Her bicycle was found in front of a gate leading an empty lot. I think it meant to say leading to an empty lot around the corner from the Campbell home. Police continuing the search Sunday said they had few clues. We've gotten lots of phone calls, but nothing has proven to be fruitful, said Police Sergeant Tony Ford. We've searched the area 4 times and haven't found her, he added. Chances are that someone took her. Are you still out there, Nikki Zubs? I want to make sure, Because I'm getting it all set up. I got to turn on the screens here in a minute. When we get to the end. Did you just hear? Did I just hear 4-year-old? This person was 4 years old. This is 1991, December 30th. Yeah, 4 years old. You got it? We gotten lots of phone calls, but nothing that's proven to be fruitful, said Police Sergeant Tony Ford. We've searched the area. Why do you keep checking on things, Katie? Just, it's weird. We've searched the area 4 times and haven't found her. I didn't know she wanted to come on and speak, and I hadn't planned on it, you guys. So it's not like it's something where you just do it. It's kind of bizarre, Like I didn't know what it was about. But if if she wants to call about the case itself, maybe that would work. She's not here. Who's not here? Who are you talking about? KK. She's not here anyways. Who? Okay. Police continue the search Sunday. They said they had few clues. We've gotten lots of phone calls, but nothing that's proven to be fruitful, said Police Sergeant Tony Ford. We searched the area 4 times and haven't found her. The youngster's family has distributed leaflets. Let's see. The youngest family has distributed leaflets with her picture throughout Solano County. Looking, that's all we've been doing, said her mother, Mary Ann Campbell, Amanda's mother. It's been only 2 days, but it feels like a year. Amanda often called Nikki by her family and friends, so they would call her Nikki, because her name is Amanda Nicole Campbell, so Nikki for short, and they called her Nikki a lot of times. Described her as 3 feet 6 inches, chubby, blonde, and blue-eyed. She was last seen wearing a pink jacket, purple shirt, and pants with white tennis shoes. And then on, I think that was like the 29th or so of January, or December 1991. Somebody just sent me a video on exactly what we just talked about. It's like, yeah, we just went over that case. Yep, you got it. All right, a missing 4-year-old girl was described Monday as someone who talks to anybody, but authorities said it was too soon to classify the dimple-faced girl's disappearance as a kidnapping. Let's see, hold on. I was just thinking, like, I remember Nicole Wilson. I haven't seen Nicole Wilson in a long time. She came back, but then I haven't seen her. Oh well. Police said they were following as many as 60 leads in their search for Amanda Nicole Campbell, who disappeared Friday afternoon from a quiet rural family neighborhood. Police and FBI agents said the investigation was being treated as a missing person, but they have not ruled out the possibility of a kidnapping. Obviously, you explore every avenue and angle, but you can't discount a kidnapping, Sergeant Chuck Tim said. Amanda was apparently headed to a friend's home Friday when she vanished. Her bicycle was found near a gate leading to an empty lot around the corner from the Campbell home. So, did they, in that first article, did they tell us what the name was? I wonder, because this is 1991. Let's see. Apparently, in front of the gate, the youngster's family distributed leaflets. Marianne. Okay, her mother, Marianne Campbell. Okay, let's just see if I can find this really quick. Mary A. Campbell, Fairfield, California. Yeah, 73, that sounds about right. Joplin, Vallejo. Okay, Fairfield. This says 1997. 86 to 94. Okay, this should be the one. Right here. This is in Fairfield. And that 196 Del Lutz Court. So, I mean, that's the one it says from 86 to 94. And that is right in that range. The other address that's in there from 1997 is this one. So I don't know about that. I think that one looks pretty good. Oh, well, there's another one from 1986 in Fairfield, but it's an apartment. So I'll just go with the one that we got there. I don't know if she's still out there, if she happens to know the address. Alright. That's where were we? A lot of neighbors are helping. She's very friendly, outspoken, talks to anybody, anywhere. Amanda, often called Nikki by her family and friends, is described as 3'6", chubby, blonde, and blue-eyed. Then there's another news source that I use. Police continued their frustrating search yesterday for 4-year-old girl who disappeared from her Fairfield neighborhood Friday, tracking down scores of tips but coming up empty-handed. The most promising lead so far came late Sunday when a motorist said he saw a girl with her hands bound in a car that looked like a 1970s model Datsun B210 screaming for help. Jesus, really? The motorist said he was 90% sure the girl was Amanda, who has been missing since Friday afternoon. I mean, either way, what a crazy story that is. The officers searched the entire east side of town, checking any vehicle that was even close to that description. None showed any connection. Amanda's mother, Marianne Campbell, said the family has no clues as to her daughter's whereabouts. Waiting is the hardest part, she said. Investigators were interviewing neighbors and checking more than 80 tips that had been called in on a special hotline as of yesterday afternoon. Included were calls from psychics. Oh, yes. Killing it, little buddies. Skip us. Oh, you can hear it. You can hear it. You can hear it. The blood-sucking psychics. Yeah. Ford said the police have classified Amanda as a missing person rather than a kidnapping victim to keep all our options open. The Kevin Collins Foundation for Missing Children has been distributing flyers with Amanda's photo and a description of the blonde, blue-eyed, chubby girl with dimpled cheeks. So it's kind of interesting because then it appears that there's other kids that are missing. So you wonder, police investigating the disappearance of 9-year-old girl are looking into similar cases in San Diego, Northern California, and Nevada to determine whether they are related, officials said Tuesday. Investigators sent a national teletype Monday seeking law enforcement information on other unsolved missing children cases that could be linked to that of Sandra Astorga. They came up with 5 other cases, but cautioned they do not know if there's a connection. Astorga was last seen Friday morning by a crossing guard who saw her headed towards Roosevelt Elementary School. So what's her name? Sandra Astorga. Molester convicted of killing girl. So Sandra Astorga disappeared while she walked to San Bernardino Roosevelt Elementary School. They arrested the person in that one and convicted him. In October 1989, 8-year-old Charles Chia and his 6-year-old sister Jennifer vanished as they walked home after getting off the school bus. Wow, what's this one? Sometimes you find interesting stories in the bullet points in some of these things. So, missing Charles Chia and Jennifer and sister and Jennifer. Okay. Few crimes have touched us as deeply as the abduction and murder of Charles and Jennifer Chia. They disappeared in the middle of an October afternoon after getting off a school bus at Redfield and Talbot behind what is now Sam's Club and another business in the Fire Creek Crossing Shopping Center. Wow, that one hasn't been solved. That's crazy. I think it's this one right here. Or maybe, hold on, it was the unsolved murder of Charles and Jennifer Chia. So it's not solved. Man. That's crazy. Still. So that one you can say might be related. Just by the fact that it's not solved either. Last July 9th, 9-year-old Rashida Wilson of San Diego disappeared while playing across the street from her family's downtown motel apartment. So this one is missing Rashida Wilson. Missing Rashida Wilson, San Diego. Still unsolved today. This case needs attention. Really, if you need attention, then why don't you put a couple words about it? It's ridiculous. The Charlie Project, see, and that's why there was no words, because it's African American, so of course they didn't have anything to say. That's ridiculous. Rashid was playing on a fire escape of an apartment building in San Diego, California on July 15th, 1991. So same year. The building superintendent asked her and her friend to move away from the fire escape because it was dangerous. The two girls left the area immediately, and Rashida went home, stayed a while, and then left again at 2:30. Rashida said that she was going to walk to downtown San Diego. She never returned home and has not been seen again. Her mother called the police after she didn't arrive home for dinner at 8 p.m. She had gone missing once before, months prior to her appearance, and was then found later that day. Rashida lived with her mother and younger sister in a single room at the Yale Hotel on F Street across the street from the building where she was last seen. The area was known as a hotbed of crime, and the police later forced the hotel to close. There was speculation that drugs were involved in some way in Rashida's disappearance, and her mother was asked to take polygraph tests. No suspects have ever been publicly identified in the case. Right. And then 4 months later, a 9-year-old San Diego girl whose name was unavailable disappeared while riding her bike, which is very similar. After school, her body was found in a canyon 2 weeks later, wrapped in a blanket. The cause of death has not been released. And then on December 27th, 4-year-old Amanda Nicole Campbell vanished while on her way to a friend's house a block from her home in Fairfield, a bedroom community 40 miles northeast of San Francisco. She has not been found. That's interesting, though. A cry for help on missing child. Bay Area parents issue plea for help, wave posters, renewed alertness. When Nikki Campbell disappeared from her home in Fairfield 2 days after Christmas, she left behind a bicycle and a devastated family. The Campbells have had no news of the dimpled little girl, whose full name is Amanda Nicole Eileen Campbell. She was last seen wearing a pink jacket and purple pants. She's only 4.5 years old. Man. She doesn't understand, sobbed her mother, Ann Campbell, on Sunday following a memorial mass devoted to the area's missing youngsters. They don't tell us anything, her mother said, but I wake up every day and know today they will find her. If not today, then tomorrow. That's all we ask, is to keep the pictures out there. Nikki's abduction was the most recent in a decade-long string of 13 California incidents, 9 in the Bay Area. The national phenomenon of child snatching has become every parent's nightmare. For the first time, a group of parents from the Bay Area and elsewhere issued a plea Sunday. They asked for a new wave of posters and heightened public alertness towards suspicious behavior involving children. So they, started up a group and, they're trying to put some awareness out there for missing children. And then we've got this one, Amanda Nicole Campbell. Just a quick thing in a paper back. This is 1992 in March. She answers by the name of Nikki. She was last seen wearing a pink jacket. Child was last seen when she left her brother and playmate to ride her bike to another friend's home. And about a year after she went missing. So they're starting to have the suspect at the time. Fairfield police Wednesday searched the home of an Oakland man identified as a suspect in the disappearance of Amanda Nicole Campbell, but left 8 hours later without making an arrest. Timothy Bidner, 44, was at home. An officer served a search warrant that, according to police, links him to the investigation of at least 2 other kidnappings and the 1983 sex slaying of a 5-year-old girl. Sergeant Charles Tim, investigative supervisor, said Binder had invoked his right to a lawyer and was not questioned. Binder previously has denied any involvement in Nikki's disappearance. But Binder has been the primary suspect for almost a year, Tim said. Bloodhounds detected Nikki's scent on the car Binder was driving a few days after her abduction. When police showed up Wednesday morning, he was visibly shaken but very cooperative, Tim said. The goal of the search warrant was to find in Binder's home evidence linking him to Nikki, who was 4 years old when she disappeared. What we're looking for is any article of clothing Nikki was wearing when she was abducted or trace evidence that may tie him to the crime. 2 other girls, Amber Swartz Garcia, 8, of Pinole, and Michaela Garrick, it's almost like correct right there, 9, of Hayward, vanished on 1988, and Angela Bouguet, 5, was abducted, raped, and strangled in November 1983. Although Wednesday's search was not directly related to their crime, all were mentioned in the 39-page search warrant affidavit. On January 1st, 5 days after Nikki disappeared, a tip led police to a grave of Angela slain 2 to grave of Angela, slain 8 years earlier. Their bloodhounds detected Nikki's scent, Tim said. 6 days later, Binder was detained climbing out of a Fairfield culvert. A search of the culvert came up empty, but bloodhounds detected Nikki's scent on the car Binder was driving. While there was insufficient evidence to arrest Binder, Tim said, he was placed under periodic surveillance. Hey, look at that. Danielle is a member. I thought you already were one. I've seen that before. Tim would not specify what new information surfaced that permitted Wednesday's search, but he related several items mentioned in the affidavit. Binder was known to the family of Amber and Kaila, according to the missing child. Oh, so they knew him too. In each case, the woman said Binder contacted the families and offered to help search for their daughters. After crime scene ribbons were removed from around Binder's house Wednesday, the suspect's wife and sister-in-law were standing on the porch as a number of reporters approached and asked for their side of the story. "Will everyone get off my steps?" Binder's wife, Sandra Wilson, yelled as they advanced. That guy definitely sounds a little bit suspicious. But and it says, kidnap suspect, "I was only trying to find victims," he says. An affable wastewater treatment plant operator went for a walk in the rain Thursday and talked for hours after the events that made him a suspect in at least 4 Bay Area kidnapping. Timothy James Binder, 44, conceded that his intense interest in the missing youngsters might seem strange and weird to many. You know what's weird is this guy might have just been like one of us back then, into true crime, you know. Binder became an object of intense media interest Wednesday when Fairfield police served a search warrant on his North Oakland home and announced he was the sole suspect in the December 27, 1991 abduction of 4-year-old Amanda Nicole Nikki Campbell. Investigators left without making an arrest, announcing that it might take weeks or months to process evidence seized. During the 8-hour search, police talked about Binder's earlier contact with families of other kidnapped victims and a series of bizarre... so there's YouTubers that do that. I gotta find the other page. Was it? Oops. Let me go back to one again. What was the... crap. Can't find it. Page A24. I'm not even sure. What page is this one? That's already E. I think it's missing the second half. So, oh well. There it is. So that's her right there. Marianne Campbell denied the joy of Christmas with her daughter Amanda Nicole Nikki Campbell instead of marked the 1-year anniversary of her little girl's disappearance Sunday, nurturing the dream of a happy union. "I just live one day at a time," Campbell said, a slight quiver in her voice during the 4th interview of the day from the Fairfield home. Despite the somber occasion, Campbell was friendly and gracious with her time. She knows the value of keeping her daughter's name and picture before the public. She also met with 5 women who are the backbone of Friends of Amanda Campbell. They sent 500 letters a week to stores asking proprietors to post Amanda's missing child flyer. After a year, prospects diminish that her daughter is still alive, but Campbell still hopes that Nikki will be found alive. The apple-cheeked girl, then 4 years old, disappeared on her way to a friend's house on December 27, 1991. Fairfield Police Sergeant Michael Hill said Sunday that the department is still aggressively investigating the case. Earlier this month, they searched the home for an Oakland man, Timothy Binder, for evidence in 4 child abduction, including Nikki Hill. Shortly after Nikki's disappearance, investigators got a tip and went to the grave of another abducted girl in Pleasant Hill. A bloodhound sniffed the scent, the missing girl, Fairfield girl. A week later, after authorities found Binder climbing from a ravine near Nikki's home, a bloodhound sniffed the scent in Binder's car. However, Binder, who displayed an intense interest in missing children, has not been charged with any crime in connection with the kidnappings. Campbell said she does not know Binder. I have never met him, she said. Her thoughts Sunday were more on how to keep upbeat. Hey, thanks, Melissa South. When I'm having a bad day, I see a counselor, she said. That's B5, so it's on B4, the rest of it. School chief, past history, that. Oh, right there. No? I don't know where the rest of it is. Oh well. I mean, it's just more of a piece about how she's doing and everything. 1996. So here's that Binder guy again. See, he sued them for $10 million for defamation of character. And then finally there was some sort of a settlement agreement. And it says, city officials have refused to pay a $50,000 settlement to an Oakland man after he was wrongfully named as a child kidnapping suspect. 5 years ago, authorities searched Timothy Binder's home, inviting a cadre of media to witness the incident. Police questioned Binder in the December 1991 kidnapping of 5-year-old Amanda Nicole Campbell. He has not been charged in the case. Binder sued the city for defamation, libel, and slander. The case is based on comments made by Fairfield detective Harold Sagan, the 2 television shows in which he named Binder as the prime suspect. Kerry Whitney, the city's risk manager, said the city would rather face Binder in court. We settle cases that we owe or that we have liability for, and we spend money to aggressively defend things we don't think we owe. Well, there you go. Hey, thank you, Sleuthin Sandals. I bet you they really think he might have something to do with it. That's why they're not willing to, or they think he's a dirtbag regardless. And well, let me pull this one out. There we go. So are you out there, Nikki Zubs? We'll get you the let me get the phone numbers up there. You got to call in now. Where is it? I don't know if you're still there, but there's the number. Okay, because we're right on to the last part here. So now we're on to the Charlie Project, where it says, Amanda was last seen near her family residence in Fairfield, California on December 7, 1991. She had been at a friend's house 4 doors down from her home when she left. I mean, there's so many times today that something's missing. When she left her brother and a friend between 4:30 and 5 to ride her bicycle to another friend's house around the corner, 8 doors from home. Amanda never arrived and has not been seen again. Her bicycle was found abandoned a few blocks from her home later that evening. An extensive search of the area failed to locate Amanda. A pair of child-sized blue socks were located in the street. However, it is unknown if they belong to Amanda. A photograph of the street corner where, I mean, they should, if they have that bike, they could maybe check to see if there's DNA on it. A photograph of the street corner where Amanda disappeared is posted with the case summary, as is a photo of the bicycle. So let's see if this is, it kind of looks ish. Let's see. Amanda circa, I mean, I'm just hoping that I got the right address here, but apparently she lived in that area. Doesn't look like the picture here, though. There's kind of goes around. And it's hard to say. An extensive search of the area failed to locate Amanda. A pair of child-sized blue socks were found. Dogs tracked or sent from Larchmont Drive to Oliver Road. Okay, so Larchmont Drive. Apparently this is the, that must be the, is there a Larchmont Drive in Fairfield? Okay, so let me go back to the mother again. Yeah, Marianne Campbell. Let me see if there's one that says Larchmont on here. She has a whole bunch of addresses. Hawthorne, Duluth, Belmont, Pine, Gresham. No. Dang, that's too bad. So Larchmont Drives goes all the way around, and their picture is around a corner. So Larchmont, does it go over here too? Okay. Ooh, Jesus. All right, so it can only be right around on these corners here. So let me just take a quick look at 3 different corners, because it could be this one. So it's kind of like that in the picture. God. That one, and that building back here looks pretty good. I don't know if you can see that, but you know, let me try that one. There's that corner. Then there's the one down here, more of a cul-de-sac-y looking thing. Doesn't look like it's that one. So we did that one, this one, so maybe this one. Of course, you know, this is 30 years ago, so somebody could have. Man. Doesn't have that, but that looks kind of new, that house there. Come on, Jesus. So slow. I don't want that. Okay. Go to the ground right here. And then go back to the oldest one they have. 2009. So maybe using that one. There's an older, like something was redone. So that was the one that looked the best. But I'm going to go down to the end of this street now, too. This is using Google Maps here. February 2009. So you'd think Larchmont, well, that would have been where she was playing with the kids, I guess. Yeah. Oh well. Give it a quick shot there. Didn't see it. Dogs tractor sent from Larchmont Drive to Oliver Road to the drive-through at a nearby McDonald's restaurant, then east of Travis Boulevard to the westbound Interstate 80 on-ramp. Authorities believe she was pulled into a vehicle, probably at Larchmont Drive and Salisbury Drive. One possible suspect named Amanda's disappearance is Timothy Binder, who was also investigated for possible connection to the disappearance of Eileen Micheloff, who was never charged in any of the case. Charged in any of the case, it says. Cases, right? Maintains his innocence and successfully sued Amanda's hometown of Fairfield in 1997 for defamation of character. For many years, Binder was also considered a suspect in the 1988 disappearance of Amber Swartz Garcia from Panola, California, and Kaila Garrick from Fremont. Binder approached many of the mothers of missing girls from East Bay area, offering his assistance, including Amber and Michaela's families. Investigators asked Amber's mother to maintain a quasi-friendship with Binder in hope of learning if he was connected to any of the girls' cases. She and authorities agreed that Binder appeared to playing mind games. To play mind games. Man, what's going on today with this stuff? It says to play mind games with victims, loved ones, and law enforcement. He has been ruled out in Michaela's case, and in 2020, David Mish was charged with her kidnapping and murder. Mish is a suspected serial killer. He is awaiting trial in Michaela's case and in the 1986 double murder of 2 women. Wow, let's see. Agreed that Binder appeared to be playing mind games with the victims, loved ones, and law enforcement. He has been ruled out in Michaela's case, and in 2020, David Mish was charged in her kidnapping and murder. So probably DNA. Curtis Dean Anderson, who was convicted of the 2000 kidnapping and molestation of a young California girl, was also mentioned as a possible suspect in Amanda's case. Investigators searched Anderson's mother's residence in June of 2001 for evidence linking him to other missing girls. In 2009, however, police said they believed Anderson was responsible for Amber Swartz Garcia's disappearance. He has confessed to Amber's murder a month before he died in prison in 2007. Police spent 18 months investigating his statement and couldn't find any evidence to refute it, and they said they were ending the search for her. Many remain skeptical of Anderson's claims, however, and Amber's body was never found in 2013 after an online petition campaign. The Pinole Police Department reopened the investigation into her disappearance. Amanda has never been located and no one has been charged in her disappearance. Foul play is suspected in her case due to the circumstances involved. Weird. Okay, so her case is maybe solved, but they couldn't disprove what he said. I don't know. Alright, let's see. Did she... I don't see Nikki Zibs. I think she got mad at what I said. I didn't know that she was calling in. But, oh well. I can't please everybody. Let's see. They always live with mom. But anyways, if you're out there, Nikki Zubs, the phone line's open. Look at us right at the top there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The chat just, nobody's saying a word. It just dies. Like it just... Oh well. Well, I don't have the dogs on the screen. They were on this screen. They're sleeping. Wow, you guys are so energetic tonight. You know, you really give me a lot of pep, as it were. I've been listening to the intrigue. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, right? All right, well, that's it, you guys. 2 hours and 54 minutes. Yesterday was 4 hours and something. I've been listening. Yeah. Here, I'll let you guys just watch the dogs. You guys seem more interested in that. There we go. Blue, Chloe. 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 I'm sure Nikki. Nikki, if I made you feel bad, I'm sorry. I was just not ready. I didn't have it set up for calls, and I didn't know that you wanted to call in about it. I just get people that send me tips for cases, and I cover them. I don't know that, people want to call in about them every single time unless they tell me that or ahead of time. And, Huh? What's going with the phone? What do you mean? No, I was supposed to... Nikki said she wanted to call in, but... I wasn't going to be able to do it, but I went, shit, I'll just pause the show and set up the phone lines, and now they're not here. And they were playing. Oh, you're a few minutes behind. Yeah. Oh, well. Chloe. Chloe. What? Leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep. Those dogs, I gotta tell you, those two dogs have a really rough life, really struggling. They just have a lot of problems, That's just what what's really interesting with them? See, when the sun's hitting the floor and they're laying in the same bed and the sun isn't hitting them, I actually they jump on board. Like, I'm going to slide it into the sun, and they jump on this little pad here because they know at that moment that I'm going to slide them into the sun. And then you turn back a minute later, and they're both out cold with the sun beating down on them, and they're just so happy. Yeah. Yeah, they haven't been doing a damn thing. Let me get them riled up. Could you hear that sound he was making? That he just loves that. You scratch right by his face like that, and he just goes. Right, Chloe? Could you hear that sound though? You could. Okay. Yeah. Chloe, over here. You can definitely see the Yorkie in him. Chloe's, when you feisty is a weird, hard word, I guess. Chloe's pretty much, you know, she always does this little twirling thing. She just goes twirl, 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 twirl. Happy day. As soon as I walk through the door and see my pups, yep, there you go. See? They played for a minute and then out cold. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Jennifer. Like, what the hell was he just doing? What was he just doing right there? We were just, he came over to play, then he left, and then he expected us to keep playing. Maybe if I throw this stress ball on top of him, where is it? Should just be right there. Wow, that worked. Did you get it? Get it. Get it, Chloe. Get it. Get it, Blue. Yeah, they do sleep together now. We just open the crate and when you go in the morning, they're just laying right on next to each other. They don't mind. I've actually seen them when their heads are against each other. It's so funny because I remember when he first got Chloe, how Blue was he was stressing out about it. He didn't like it. Now they're awesome. See, let's see. Blue waits for his food. So when Chloe's being fed, Blue sits in the other room and waits really anxiously because he knows it'll be his turn. And then when it's his turn, sometimes Chloe runs over and just eats right along with him. And he doesn't, bark at her to get her to go away. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he'll let her eat off of his plate, but she never really does that. She just gobbles hers down really fast. It's pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah, Blue's like a big brother that's looking out for Chloe. Chloe's all about me, 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 me. Yeah. Yeah, well, she's part Yorkie. They say Yorkie and Chihuahua, but I don't know. Definitely see the Yorkie in there. Every time I see a Yorkie, I can see it. Come on, Chloe. Come on. No? No. Oops. Trying to figure out where to put that. There it is. Now it's behind, like it's on the TV. There you go. I think it needs to be about like that. I think Blue's getting close to 10, I would think. 9 or 10, and Chloe's probably like 3 or so. 3 or 4 now. I don't even know. It's weird. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's. We did one of those tests on him, and you know, there's something going up when you do the DNA tests on dogs, and they go, "Can you let us know what type of, what you see?" No, that's what you're supposed to do, right? And they sent it back, and it's just all this weird crap. It had nothing to do with anything. So I think we got to try a different one. Chloe. I really like that that duck back there. Here, let me get that duck. Oh yeah. I gotta throw it. Bring it over here, Taylen. Come on, Blue. Come on, buddy. Oh, he brought it into his crate. Come on, Blue. Come on. Come on, Blue. Come on, come on. Come on, Blue. Come on. Come on. Come on. Over here. Over here. It's right there. It's right there. Blue. Blue. It's right there. Blue. It's right there. Yeah, there you go. They were looking for it. There it was. Got him going. I got him going. Arr. Get him! Get him, Chloe! She got it, the goose by the head there. There it is. Oh. Get it, Blue! Get it! Get it! Oh, look at it. And then she goes after his ears. It's so mean. It's just... Oh, yeah. Oh boy, they're going at it. Yeah, probably Danielle, but you know, after 10 months you might be like, yeah, that was an accident. But obviously there's something wrong with her. Well, Blue went over to get some water. He's tired now after that battle. I only blame the grandmother in that case. And maybe the grandfather. I don't know what he was doing. But that's just my opinion. Alright, you guys. Well, I think that's going to do it. You got to see Chloe, her little really... tricky attacks she does on Blue. She actually instigates Blue. Like if Blue is upset, she picks on him more. Like Blue could be barking at something, and then she comes up behind Blue and bites him in the ass, bites him in the face, bites him in. Like if they're, you know, those delivery trucks that drive by, and they're outside, and Blue's like, rah, rah, rah. She comes up behind him, bites him in the ass, bites him in the. It's just over and over and over again. And Blue gets more and more angry about it. He's like. He might not even know why he's upset. Yeah.
:basic Blue :basic Chloe. Here's to the possible Blue empty.
That would be pretty cool. I think that would be fun, just to have a fun channel where they're just, you know, Blue and Chloe. You know, make a little setup for them. There's three or four cameras in there, and just kind of. Do like an 2-hour show or something, and it's just live feed for the dogs, and then that's it. And you move on to the next time. He's being abused. 100%. No doubt about it. All right. Well, hey, we get to give away a notebook tonight. See how still she is now? Just that quick. Got to put them back in their spot. There we go. Maybe that should be the break camera, though. The one with just Chloe and them. Okay. Well, thank you to Dina Tall, Sarita, Scoutin' Dude, Sarita with a cat eye, Scoutin' Dude, Reviewed Popcorn, Kathy Chapin, Simple Life Days, Eugenie, Lily, Caligal 3, Quietly Frozen, Teresa Murray, Tawny Lee, Scoutin' Dude, Betty Smith, Zach Thornhill, Jeff, Simple Life Days, Snug with Pug, Jennifer, Ladybug, Kathy Friedmaker, Martha 563, Travelin' Teresa, Eugenie, Cindy J, Alley Cake, Snarky Cinderella, Bama Forever with a cat eye, WNC Granny, Christy Kazi, Quietly Frozen, Susie Clue, Nikki Zibs, she said, Ray, can I call in after you with Nikki Campbell and Vale? And I was like, well, I don't know, because we haven't set anything up, but I don't know. I should have just said, sure, yeah, and then set it up. Christy Kazi, Melissa South, Sleuth and Sandals, Daisy Thomas, and Jessica Schubach. Then, let's see, we had Pamela, Vicky, and Aaron on Cash App. And then there was also, today we had Dina. I don't know if she wanted a notebook or not, but Dina. And also Susie Clue. And then earlier in the day, actually I have a name on here. It's Tighten Up. Alright, so Tighten Up with a PayPal earlier. Thank you very much. Alright, here we go. We're going to do the spin. Alright, but I'll try to be better when somebody goes, hey Greg, can I do this? And not take away their excitement to do something by just doing something outside of what I was going to do. Alright, you guys? I'll give it a shot in the future. I'll be more, what do you call it? Flexible. Does that sound good? You know, because she was probably excited to talk about that. She's the one that sent it to me a while back, but didn't say, hey, Gray, she just said, here's a cold case. You know, so I wasn't sure. I don't know if you were or not. I didn't see you. Were you on, where were you at, Sleuth and Sandals? Were you on, I thought I read your name off, if I didn't. Oh, no, I don't think yeah, it was Sleuth and Sandals, Melissa South, Christy Kazi, Rebecca. Oh, wait, were those the ones that came in last? It was Jessica Schubach, Daisy Thomas, Sleuth and Sandals. Yeah. But on what I was reading a minute ago, yeah, you were right at the end. Sleuth and Sandals, Daisy Thomas, Jessica Schubach. Yeah, I said that. Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Dina. Yeah, you're even in the spin thing. All right. There we go. This is for the notebook. I gotta order some new ones now. Maybe I'll put Blue and Chloe on there too in the background in sketch format. Alright, here we go. Here comes the spin. You get the 2 pins. Oh, look at that. It's Bama Forever. Bama Forever. I don't know if she's still there, but she almost always wants me to spin again. I don't know if she's still there. Tell you what, I'll spin again anyways. I think Chloe's like 3 or 4, Danielle. Okay, there we go. Spin again. Alright, here we go. We're spinning again. Thank you, Bama Forever. Always so kind. Teresa Murray. There we go. Yeah, hey, I'm glad you liked the also interesting cases, I thought, tonight. I mean, the last one is just sort of like, geez, that's just one of those other cases where somebody literally vanishes into thin air and there isn't really anything out there pointing to somebody. You know, police probably have a hell of a lot more information on it, but, you know, they're not putting it out in the public. Maybe Nikki Zubs had some information there, and maybe that would have been interesting to hear. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for all your support on the channel here, and you know, kind of, and also here's the thing: I appreciate you guys allowing me, by supporting me, to do cases that other people don't really talk about. Because I tell you what, if I made videos on those cases, I wouldn't even be able to do this. Like if that was all I was doing. You get like 2,000, 3,000 views on cases like that, where people are just like, yeah, I don't care, man. Give me some more Maura Murray, man. Give me some more Maura Murray. But yeah, you guys, you know, allow me to do that. The freedom. Sometimes it's a little bit, you know, like whenever we cover the big cases that we do really well in here, and the other ones sometimes are struggling nights, but at least it still keeps on trucking, you know. So I like that. So again, thank you all for being here tonight. We will see you tomorrow. I think I might be doing, let me see, what's the name of this one? It is the I think Children of the Snow. 1976. So trying to look, I'm just kind of looking up the different people in there and trying to get it all squared away. I don't, yeah, let's see, 2. Yeah, I think there's 5 different people that I'm going to be doing on that one. All right. So thank you all for being here tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, oh, you just watched it? I didn't know there was a movie or anything on it. Somebody just said it's called That Case, so I looked it up. It's kind of old from 1976, but we'll see what's going on in that one. All right, so we'll see you tomorrow, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And Blue and Chloe say goodnight too. They just took off. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a speckle with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember how to do the fucking check, y'all.
I have no agenda. I'm no pretender. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender.
What are you singing? Una
And in the
Paloma
end,
Blanca.
I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
When the sun shines on the mountain and the fox is on the run, it's a new day, it's a new way. As we rise up to the sun. Una paloma blanca.
Oh my God, Mary Lou. You sound like a wounded chicken or something. Very much like a wounded chicken. Yeah. Yeah, she needs a hoodie so she can't make any noise quietly frozen. You're exactly right. All right, see you tomorrow. Be safe out there.
You're not very nice, Gray. I thought I sang that really well. Una paloma blanca.
Yeah, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect, Mary Lou. I think it was pitch perfect. If you were on American Idol, you probably would have won.
What do you mean, Gray? Being sarcastic? Gee, I practiced really hard.
Okay, well, keep practicing, all right? Wow.